Previously on
Drewbernetes. We'll start by installing Authentik via the Helm chart. I'm going to add myself a new user right now. We'll then go over to groups, and I'm going to create a group in here called Vault Admins. We'll add myself. We'll create a provider. I'm going to go ahead and use this OAuth2 OpenID provider. I need to give it a name, so I'm just going to call this Vault Provider. And the authentication flow is the first one I want, the default authentication flow. Authorization flow, explicit. The rest of it is absolutely fine. We can leave it as it is. We're going to need this client ID and this client secret soon. Vault will require these. Redirects, URIs, and origins. You can see that right here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those URLs. We'll drop them in there and we'll change vault.company for our URL. Finally, we have the local host approach. And next, we're going to look at the advanced protocol settings. I want my access token validity to be 15 minutes. Next, I'm going to go to applications. And in here, I'm going to click create. I'm going to call this Vault, and I'm going to call this Vault for the slot. The provider is going to be the Vault provider we just set up. Back channel providers don't need that. Don't need policy engine mode. UI, launch URL. Well, that's this one here. So we'll just copy that and drop it in. I'm going to open it in a new tab. Oh, HashiCorp as the publisher and description. This is Vault. I'm going to teach you how to set up OIDC Auth on Vault in 10 minutes or less. Now, this video was already recorded, the one you're about to watch, as part of this video up here, which was setting up Authentik in 10 minutes or less. Now, the reason it was part of this video is because I wanted to show you how to set up Authentik with a provider and an application, and then make use of that by setting up OIDC Auth on Vault. But that is a Vault topic, and that is an Authentik topic. So when I got to the 10-minute point and realized I'd finished talking about Authentik in that video, I figured I might as well split it into two. So this is the second half of that video showing you how to set up OIDC Auth on Vault using the stuff we set up in there. So if you haven't done that, go do that. Or use your own OIDC provider. That's fine too. You should be able to extrapolate. So let's go. So the first thing I want to do is actually enable OIDC on Vault. So to do that, I'm going to export some environment variables. So I'm going to do export Vault address, and then I'll go and get that Vault address. So there it is. And we'll drop that in there with an equal sign, ideally. There we go. And then I'm going to export my Vault token. So I'm just going to do that and then clear the screen. So now that I've got that, I can start interacting with Vault. So I'm going to do Vault Auth enable OIDC. So Vault Auth enable OIDC, and that's enabled. Now we can start configuring it. But the first thing I want to do is create a reader role. So this is a role that will only be used to read secrets in a particular path. So let's take one of those paths as an example. I'm going to just log in with my root token again, and I have a new, let's just create a new secrets engine. So I'll do secrets engine and enable a new engine, key value, and we'll just call this Authentik store. So what I'm going to start doing is enabling it so I can only read values from this store. I mean, I've got this cube secrets on here that I used in my Vault video, but I'm now going to set up a new one. As you can see, root token sees everything. I only want to be able to access the Authentik store. That's it. So I'll log back out of here and we'll jump back over to the terminal, and I'm going to do Vault policy write Authentik reader. Now, this is just the name of the policy, and then I'm going to do an inline set of policies. So what we've done here is we've written a new policy called Authentik Reader. It will access the Authentik store, which actually I see an error with what I've just done there. I actually want to do Authentik store /star. So I'm just going to rewrite that one. And I've given it the capabilities of read and list. This means I can read and list secrets within the Authentik store key value store. Next, we're going to go ahead and write the OIDC config out. To do that, we've got this command here, which will do vault write auth OIDC config with OIDC discovery URL, which is our path from Authentik. So if I jump back over to Authentik, you can see this OpenID configuration issuer. That's the path we want. And then we want the client ID, which is this. And then we want the secret key, which is this. And that's the client secret. The default role is AK-reader. Now, this doesn't exist anywhere yet, and I'll create it next. We could have created it first, but I'm doing things in the wrong order just to confuse you. And make sure you're paying attention. So AK-reader is the role we're going to create any second. So we'll write that one first, and now we're going to go ahead and create the role. And to do that, we just need this command here. So I'll grab that, and I'm going to change this to AK-reader because that's the name I gave it. This is going to be the client ID, so we'll just delete that. We'll jump back over to Authentik again. We'll grab that client ID and pop that in there. And then we've got this allowed redirect URIs. Now we could do a comma delimited list here, but they've separated it out into separate redirect URIs, and that's fine. Doesn't matter which way around you do it. So we just need to update those Vault companies to our URL. So I'm going to go over and grab this and we'll paste that in there. And then I'll do the same for the previous one. And remember, these URIs here have to match these three are exactly the same as they are here. If they're not exactly the same, if there's an extra forward slash on the end or anything like that, it will not work. So that's that. Let's go ahead and hit enter on that. And that is it. We have reader access. Let's just confirm that. So I'll do vault login. In fact, there's a command in here. I can just copy and paste that. Remembering we changed the name of the role. We didn't just have a reader role. We had AK reader because I am limiting just to that one place. So we're going to do this first. This should authenticate. There we go. So I don't want to log in as the AK admin one. So I'm going to log out as that. I'm going to change this to Drew and we'll change that password to that one. And there we go. So if we just jump back over here, click that again. Now it'll ask me. Brilliant. There we go. Vault saying that I've signed into my OIDC provider. The reason I had to re-click that link is because I logged out and logged in again. That's all it was. If you did that in future, it would work. But you can see now you are authenticated. I have a token. I have the policy of reader and the role of AK reader. That's actually incorrect thinking about it because I didn't change the policy on this command here. So if I scroll back up, you can see this command. I left the policies as reader. I don't want that to be reader. I actually want that to be authentic store, I believe. Let me just scroll up and see what I called that. It's authentic reader is the name of that policy. So I'm actually just going to update that. I'll run login again and we should find this time it logs us in. And if I tab back, there we go. So what we've actually done here is we've created an OIDC configuration, which is bound to a role of AK-reader, which is this one here. We then bound that role to the policy authentic reader, which was the policy we created. So that's why I just wanted to correct that because what would have happened is I would have logged in and I would have had read only to everything because by default there is a reader role in Vault and that allows you read access to everything. I don't want that. I want to just have access to that authentic key value store that we just set up. So what I'm going to do now is just revoke those tokens because I don't actually need them. It would have expired after a certain amount of time, but because I'm not using it, I just like to make sure I've revoked everything. So let's just check to make sure it works on the browser as well. And to do that, we drop down the method to OIDC. We can leave this blank. This will be the default one. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign in. It will log me in. And we'll see I have Cubbyhole. Cubbyhole is my own private secret store. That's why you can see your Cubbyhole. I can see my Cubbyhole, but we can't see each other's. Authentic store. There it is. Let's try and create something in it. And we should see we cannot because we don't have permission. We only gave read and list access to that particular one. So that's working. That's a really good start. It means we can log in. We can only see the authentic store if we go here. Excellent. Okay, so let's log out and we'll take it a step further now. And that is to give people admin access. So how do we do that? Well, remember that Vault admin group we set up in Authentik? We'll then go over to groups and I'm going to create a group in here called Vault admins. We're going to make use of that now. That will be part of the scope that is passed over to Vault and we will make use of that scope to say if this particular group exists within that scope, assign it a policy. Well, assign it a role which will have a policy attached. So I'm going to write a new policy. It's called authentic admin. It has access to the authentic store /star, so everything within it. It has sudo, read, create, update, delete, list, and patch permissions. So I'm going to hit enter on that. That will write that out. And then we can go on to the next step, which is pretty similar to what we just did before, but we're just going to add a couple of extra properties or parameters. So we're going to get the command we used previously for the AK reader role, and we're just going to change a couple of bits. So we've changed Vault admins. Everything else here is the same. The allowed redirect URIs and the bound audience is exactly the same. We've still got the user claim equals sub, but now we've got this token policies value, which will give us the authentic reader role or the authentic reader policy, sorry. And this is just to say minimum, we'll have the reader policies and then we add everything else on top. We've then got this OpenID connect scopes and this contains, well, the OIDC scopes, I should say, is the parameter. And in there, we've got OpenID, email, profile, and groups. Now, this is the bit we care about. So we add that to the groups claim. And the reason we care about that is because that's the bit that creates the Vault admin group that we have in Authentik. So we'll go ahead and hit enter on that. And now we're going to create a group in Vault. And in there, what we're going to do is have a name of Vault admins. It's going to be a type of external. The policies is going to be authentic admin, the one we just created. And then the responsibility is just admin access to Vault. And it's just a description. That's all it is. So go ahead and click enter on that. Now we need to get the group ID and the OIDC accessor ID. So to do that, I'm just going to paste this command in here. I'm going to hit enter on that. And we're grabbing those two because now we're going to create a group alias that will bind these to the group we've just created. And to do that, I'll just put this command in. It's pretty much the same as it is on the group we created. We give it a name, except for now we don't give it a type. We just give it the amount accessor, which is the value we just got, and the canonical ID for the group. And that's it. Press enter on that. And there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and log in again. But this time, instead of AK reader, we're going to change this to Vault admins. So we'll just do Vault admins, hit enter on that. That will prompt us to log in, which it just has on my other screen. as you can see here. And then we should see we've got the Authentik reader role, but we've also now got the Authentik admin role, and our token meta role is Vault admins. So now we're logged in as administrators, so we can do extra stuff basically. That's what that's saying. And that is basically it. So I'm going to go ahead and revoke that token now. So revoke, and we'll paste that token in. And then we'll just go and check the browser to make sure that works. So I'm going to put Vault admins in here because we actually have to provide it. If we don't provide it, it will take us over to the reader role, and click sign in. This will ask for the additional permissions. It will log me in. And now if I go to my Authentik store, which is still the only one I can see, but if I go into here now, I should be able to create a secret. And there we go. We've created a secret. So that is OIDC Auth in Vault. That is it. It's really straightforward. Once you've got an OIDC supplier, provider, with a user that you can use that to log into Vault. So you can extrapolate that to any other provider you have. If you don't have Authentik, if you do, brilliant, use that. So that's it. We're going to carry on down the Vault path, sort of, in the next video, which is going to be external secrets, the external secrets operator. I want a way of pulling secrets into my cluster without having to manually do kubectl create secret, copy the secret from Vault, paste it in, and yeah, you can already see how that'd be a nightmare if you've got hundreds of secrets. So how can we do that? External secrets, I just said, remember? A few seconds ago. So in the meantime, if you like the video, like the video. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, subscribe. And if you want to find out when the next videos come out, ring the bell and it will ding away and tell you when the next video comes out. So I'll see you in the next one.